Welcome to The Table, brought to you by Cameron Mitchell Restaurants. I'm Bob McElligott, today joined by Adam Fantilli and Zach Werenski of the Blue Jackets, and we are at SoCal Kitchen and Bar. So gentlemen, first of all, thanks for taking some time out of your day. Appreciate it. I haven't seen you for quite a while because of the injury that you have sustained. You guys have so many things in common that we're going to talk about throughout this. And, you know, injuries is one of the major injuries. How are you feeling, first and foremost?
Really good, yeah. Just kind of going through the process with it, getting some imaging done every now and then, make sure it's still healing properly. Kind of sucks, you got to take some time with it that you don't want to, but part of it happens.
It's got to be frustrating for you because it's something you couldn't prevent. It's like just an accident that happens in the middle of a game and all of a sudden you're out for weeks.
Yeah, it's not like I felt like I put myself in a vulnerable position or anything like that. Just part of the game. We play with pretty sharp edges on our feet, and it happens every year where someone will get cut or anything like that happened the year before too. So it's part of the game. You kind of learn to live with that risk side of it. So it's kind of not really preventable.
Zach, you can relate. Happened to you last year. It's happened to you a couple of times, I guess. Just some weird injuries that just happen, and it keeps you out for long periods of time. It must drive you crazy.
Yeah, it sucks for sure. I mean, even this year I had the high ankle sprain, kind of a fluke play. I think like what he was saying, like you play at such a high speed with, you know, blades on your feet and sticks and, you know, no cages, so guys get hit in the face and whatnot. So there's always stuff happening in the game, and obviously it sucks when it happens to you. I feel like for me it's happened more than most people, unfortunately, but it's just part of it. So it sucks the position he's in, obviously missing time and going through that, but it's not the only one, right? Everyone goes through it at some point in their careers, so he'll get through it. He'll be back better than ever.
Well, the salads are here, so let's dig into that. Looks too good to let's sit here and just look at it for a while, for goodness sakes. Talking about all the stuff that you guys have in common, of course, you were both high draft picks. Zach, you went 8th overall.
Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from University of Michigan, Jack Werenski.
Adam, 3rd overall.
Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from University of Michigan, Adam Fantilli.
What kind of a challenge is it to be one of those guys in the top 10, especially for you in the top 3, where there's a lot of focus and there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of attention, especially right up until the time that you're finally picked. Like with you, Adam, what were those expectations like to deal with for you coming out of college and going into the NHL draft?
Like what you were talking about, I think that's kind of the case for a lot of people where you don't really know where you're going to go. It's the NHL draft, right? So teams might need something different than what you are. Some guys might need a D-man, some guys might want a forward, skill guy, goalie. You have no clue, right? So going into the draft, you obviously don't really know too much. Going through the whole year, it was kind of in the back of your head, but it was more out of sight, out of mind, because you're with a completely different team, you're in a completely different league. You're focusing on your own goals, the team goals, so obviously it's kind of always looming over your head in your draft season, but you're more just trying to focus on your day-to-day.
Was there ever any point during your final year in college where you thought maybe I wouldn't go to the NHL, or did you know pretty much, especially the way that season went? I mean, you win the Hobey Baker, you're the best player in college hockey. Did you pretty much know this is a one and done? I've got to get to the next level where I'm going to be challenged more?
No, pretty much right up until development camp or right up until the draft, I didn't know what I was going to do. Michigan's such an amazing place, and college is such a great development league as well, so I loved my time there. I had a great time playing hockey in the NCAA, so I wasn't opposed to going back for another year, but then I met with the team and they were pretty adamant on coming in, so kind of a whole new chapter, and I was excited about it. So.
What about you, Z? Did you know you were at a point where, yeah, I'm ready to go to the NHL?
I think my first year, which was my draft year, I knew I wasn't going to the NHL the year after that. We were a pretty good team that year, but a lot of guys were moving on. Our top line was moving on. The year before that, Larks moved on. So we had guys going to the NHL and making the jump. So I kind of figured after my second year, I kind of knew those last maybe 3-4 weeks that I was going to move on after the season. So just try to make the season as long as possible, win as many games. We were 1 game from the Frozen Four, which would have been awesome. And then obviously signing and going to Cleveland to extend my season that year was great. So kind of had an idea my second year towards the end of it that I'd be moving on, and just tried to enjoy those last few months with the guys.
I guess in hindsight, the way it worked out for you was, as you just said, it was perfect. When you went to Cleveland, you joined a team that was already on a run. You get into the playoffs.
Down the wall, Tynan in front, a backhand shot, they score. A pass coming in, and Zach Werenski.
You guys just destroyed everybody in the playoffs, basically. And you go from being an NCAA player 1 week to a couple of weeks later, there you are as a Calder Cup champion in the American Hockey League. I think the thing that was great about that, not just for you, but everybody else on that team, as you came up to the Blue Jackets as a group, winning was all that you guys knew, wasn't it?
100%, and I kind of see the same thing similarly this year with Cleveland. They're obviously a really good team this year, and hopefully they can make a long run. Because when you do it as a group and you're around each other, and like you said, all you know is winning, when you take the next step, there's going to be learning experiences, but all you know is winning. And I think that's huge for a locker room. And for me to go play in Cleveland and win there, still to this day, some of the most fun hockey I've ever played. It was incredible. And the next year, there was like 5 or 6 of us that came up to the Blue Jackets, make the playoffs 4 years in a row, and you know, we had some good runs there. So I think it's great for our group in Cleveland this year. And like you said, it was great for me at the time of being a college kid, winning the Calder Cup, my rookie season. It just all worked out perfectly.
So both of you attended Michigan, and that's where you played your college hockey. Zach, for you, you're a Detroit area guy. Was that a dream of yours to play hockey there?
Not really, no, to be honest. I really didn't know much about Michigan, as crazy as that might sound. My parents weren't Michigan fans. Really had no one in my family that were Michigan fans. Most people we knew went to Michigan State, actually. I wanted to play at the program, the US program, and then once that kind of came along, my first year, I wasn't committed anywhere. Just kept the door open to different options, different schools. The CHL crossed my mind a little bit at one point, but I think after talking with my family and living in Ann Arbor already with the US program at the time, it just made a lot of sense to go to Michigan. And I got to live with Larkin, who was one of my best friends growing up, so it all made sense. And now I'm a lifelong Michigan fan, I guess. So at the time I wasn't, and now I am. So it's funny how that works.
Now for you, it's a little bit different. You're a Toronto area kid, but yet you wound up at Michigan too. What was a big attraction for you, Adam?
My brother was there. He was committed there. Like Z was saying, I had a lot of CHL in my face growing up, just being from Toronto. It's kind of all they feed into your head. So trying to go as high as I could in the OHL draft was all I was really focused on up until I was about 14, and then I moved down south to play prep school with my brother, and to be honest, I kind of just followed him around after that. I played with him at Kimball Union and Chicago, and while I was in Chicago, I was like him. I didn't really commit for a while. I was just kind of keeping options open, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and one day I just went for a tour in Michigan, and I just loved the campus, fell in love with it. The coaches were great. I was really close with a lot of the guys that were going to be going in my freshman class, with Brindley, with McGorty, Casey, my brother. It was kind of a no-brainer for me at that point.
In development, in college hockey, a lot of practice time, right? Your games are mainly on the weekends. But what's the college experience like? I know it was limited for you, but what was it like? Just being a part of that culture and the friends that you made and the lifelong bonds that you have from it.
Yeah, we stayed in the dorms. I know a few guys like KJ didn't really get to have that experience because of COVID, but we got to stay in the dorms. I was roommates with my brother. Met a lot of people outside of hockey that still talk to, still friends with today. Obviously the football is amazing. We were a great team for the last 2 years, so it's been really, really fun that way to go to those games, tailgates. But it's just like it's a brotherhood, really. You just become friends with everybody on your team. It's probably the closest team I was on for a while there, so it was just a lot of fun.
How much did you enjoy your college experience?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think I even enjoy it more now, to be honest. Living in Ohio, in Columbus, you obviously know the rivalry and you know how big Michigan is just to the world. What I didn't really realize is how big it is. You know, all the connections you make and people everywhere you go in New York City at airports, everyone's wearing maize and blue. It's the same for Ohio State, I'm sure. But it's just so cool to see how far like that Michigan network goes. It's just cool to be a part of that, and obviously I enjoyed it when I was there. It's college, why wouldn't you enjoy it? But I think the older I'm getting, the more I just kind of appreciate being a part of something bigger than just the hockey team. It's something a lot bigger and it goes a lot deeper. So I think that's pretty cool. All
right, you've dealt with this longer than Adam has, being a Wolverine in Buckeye territory. What's it like for you? I guess the last couple of years has been pretty good for you, but what's it been like since you've gotten here?
Yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I think at the beginning it was not ideal with kind of where the football program was at, but these last few years, the more Michigan guys we have on the team now, the football team seems to be better, so maybe it's a coincidence. But no, it's been good. I think having Columbus and the Ohio State fans understand the rivalry like we do as Michigan fans, I've enjoyed it.
Tell me about Gavin Brindley specifically. You were the first-round pick this past summer. He was the second-round pick of the Blue Jackets. He's had a really, really good year at Michigan again this year. You said you're going to try to twist his arm a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, I'm definitely in his grill quite a bit about it. One of the best teammates I've ever had. He's just the guy that is always having fun in the locker room. Is always working extremely hard. One of the hardest working guys, in my opinion. Should have been a first-round pick last year, but he's a smaller guy, undersized, and he's always kind of been fighting against that. But I think he's going to do a lot of great things in the sport, so I'm excited to see what he does.
You know, you talked about this a little bit ago, Zach. Playing on those teams, you had a lot of teammates that you see now that you're playing against, right? Dylan Larkin is number one, your friend, your former teammate in college, playing with the Red Wings. But as you go around the league, is it nice to see a lot of guys that you used to play with that you're now playing against?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think you always look forward to seeing guys and catching up. Obviously, a lot of them still live in Michigan, so I see them in the summers or work out with them, whatever it is. So it's crazy when you go back and look at certain teams to see how many guys made it and where they're at now and the careers they've had. So I'm sure the older he gets, you know, guys like Brindley and McCrory, once they turn pro and you're 6, 7, 8 years in, to see the success of all your friends, there's really nothing better. So it's definitely exciting whenever you can see them and play against them.
But you want to beat them. That's the other fun part of it too, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially Larks for me. Like, we used to go at it.
You literally beat him, right? You guys fought.
Garrett Rank says no. This draws a big crowd. Everybody into it. Look out.
Who's fighting in the back? It's Bobby Ryan back behind the net.
Are you kidding me? Werenski and Larkin.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Way to go, boys.
I know. We used to fight in school too, like all the time. So I always want to beat him, and it's the Wings. So I always have kind of more of a reason to want to win that game. But I think whenever you play your friends, you're gonna have a little bit more juice, and obviously want to win those games. So it's always exciting.
You looking forward to that someday soon?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully, I can get on a line or play with Gavin at some point and be playing against Rutgers soon. That'll be cool too. Family
is a big thing for both of you guys. You know, you and your brother, how much did you interact as kids as compared to what you do right now?
It's probably the same, to be honest. We didn't play hockey together like they did, so we weren't around each other as much in the winter, but we see each other almost every day in the summer, whether it's golfing, shooting hoops, playing tennis. Extremely close with him, and I think a lot of our success, you could probably say the same thing, you know, it comes from your siblings, right? You playing hockey in the basement, street hockey. My brother played hockey growing up, so I was always on the ice with him, pushing each other, and we owe a lot of it to them. So obviously we're still very close to this day, but yeah, he doesn't play hockey anymore, so it's close in different areas of life, I guess.
Is he that one person that you can call when, whether it's good or bad, you just need to talk to somebody? Is that the guy?
Yeah, for sure. Talk to him every day in some capacity, whether it's text, FaceTime, Xbox. You know, he's almost 30 now, so it's definitely different, the stuff we talk about, than, you know, what it was when we were in college, but he hasn't changed, and our relationship hasn't changed, which has been the best part.
And you and your brother are the same way. You talk all the time.
Yeah, every day. FaceTime him pretty much every single day, and just kind of checking on him, all the boys, what he's been up to, how his classes are going, even though he doesn't really want to talk about that too much. Yeah, just talk to him pretty much every day.
How much did he help you to get better, though, playing with him and wanting to beat him, wanting to be better than him?
He's 2 years older, and his age group was pretty stacked with guys like Drysdale, guys like Perfetti, and he played with a lot of those types of guys. So he would always let me come out and practice with his teams and skate on the outdoor rink with his friends. And I think I was kind of just always trying to catch my older brother and catch his friends. So him being nice enough to let me come out and skate with those guys, I think drove a lot of my competitiveness and helped me get to where I am.
All right, well, this looks great. What did you guys get?
Chicken.
Chicken. I got the filet. Looks great. Yeah. So let's dig into it. If your chicken's as good as my filet, I know it's outstanding.
Oh, yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. Was this normal for you guys growing up, sitting around the table, family dinners?
Family dinner pretty much every single night. My mom would cook or my dad would hit the barbecue and sit around the family table.
I mean, every Monday, still to this day, we go to my grandma's for dinner. During the winter, I can't go, but my brother, his wife, my parents, everyone goes to my grandparents' house for dinner on Mondays. So yeah, we used to grab dinner I mean, not in a restaurant, I guess, but my parents would make dinner almost every night, and we'd sit around the table, and whether it was before practice or after practice, and just hang out. And I think it's probably a big reason why everyone's so close in my family was, you know, times like this and just grabbing dinner and hanging out and being together.
How special is that for you guys, though, when you get your parents, your siblings, get to come to the games and watch you? Adam, you talked about going to Ohio State and watching Luka play. Yeah. What about him coming and watching you play as a Blue Jacket? What's that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, he came down for preseason, and he came for a couple games, and then kind of having him at my first game back in Toronto was really special. I had quite a few people there that I'm close to, so really nice to have him come out and show that support.
Yeah, and the parents, you know, when you're growing up and you got to be taken to this rink and that rink and early in the morning, or all these tournaments you have to make the sacrifices and travel for. I mean, that's mom and dad all the way, right?
Exactly, 100%.
And having them be able to come down here, how much does that mean to you? I would bet that they were probably a little bit happy that it wound up being Columbus, not Anaheim, because it's so much easier to get down here and watch you play on a regular basis.
Yeah, it was either a 6-hour flight or a 6-hour drive, they were saying. So
much more control in the drive, right?
Yeah, they were happy about that. But it's also pretty much on the way with seeing my brother, so they can stop in Ann Arbor for like a 4-hour drive and then kind of continue it down to see me. And even when I want to go see Luka, it's only like a 2.5 to 3 hour drive, so we're all still pretty close. When you think about it, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? I know your parents come down a lot to watch you play.
Yeah, it's great having him here. I get nervous when my brother comes, just to see how much he drinks, to be honest. He's usually chatting someone up and everyone's just rolling their eyes at me, but I really enjoy having everyone come down here. I was kind of a similar situation to him. I didn't think I was going to Columbus. The pick after me was San Jose. So I thought I was going there. And then once I got picked here, my first thing my dad said was, this is way better than San Jose, just because they can drive 3 hours to come to games. Having Detroit home for me, being so close, my friends come down, my brother comes down, my cousins come down. It's a 3-hour drive, so it's super easy.
All that being said, there must be some games when you guys know nobody's coming and you're like, thank God. All I can do is go to work and do my job, and I don't have to be a host.
Yeah, more so like the entertaining part of it.
Right.
Like, yeah, what are we doing for dinner? What are we, doing for lunch? Them coming to the games is the best part, but when everyone's in town, it can kind of get overwhelming sometimes.
Well, and you've lived the playoffs here too. That's a totally different beast too, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody wants to come to the
Everybody's
playoffs.
coming.
Now they're at your place. Now you got to make sure they're all taken care of, and you're supposed to play meaningful playoff games.
Yeah, that's like the outdoor game next year. So many people have already reached out, like, hey, I'm coming down. I'm like, that's great, but I don't know if I'll see ya. Maybe.
Let's wrap it up with that. We talked about college football, how important it was where you went to school, how important it is here. You're going to play in a college football stadium outside next year. How much does that pump you up?
You know what, it's super, super exciting. Obviously, like, playing at Michigan, like, I wanted to be able to kind of play a game at the big house there and play a game in Michigan, but doing it here and still doing it in a college stadium and playing against a team like the Wings is going to be really, really cool. We're going to have close to, I don't know what it is, 90, 100,000 people. It holds quite a few people, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we got an experience last year in Cleveland playing against Ohio State outside, and that was really fun. It's definitely a bit of a transition, a different type of game. A lot of things that you didn't think were going to be having an impact on you do. There's like wind, the sun. It definitely takes its toll, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to be a really cool experience.
You'll have the eye black on,
yeah,
right?
100%.
You'll be all decked out for that football look for you on that question. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Having 100,000 people, an outdoor game. I don't know what time of day it is, whether it's at night, at nighttime or during the day. It's going to be a crazy day down here in Columbus, and for it to be the Wings, my hometown team, like I said, so many people have already reached out saying they're coming down for it. It's just going to be a special weekend for everyone.
There'll be some tailgating at that game.
Yeah, my brother scared already for him. So we'll see if he makes it to the game. Hopefully it's a day game.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for giving your time here today. Hope you continue to get better quickly. And Zach, thanks. Best of luck to you as you guys play out the rest of the season here. And playing really well right now as a group. So best of luck the rest of the way here. Yep. And that'll do it for The Table, brought to you by Cameron Mitchell Restaurants here at SoCal Kitchen and Bar. Thanks for joining us.